Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras. And as you know, I do not normally do this program by myself, and today I will not. For a little bit of a celebration here today. Well, you know what day it is. It's Throat Punch Thursday.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is? Who's ready? Oh.
It's Throat Punch Thursday, bitch.
Karate chop or karate punch to the throat. In any case, very much appreciate y'all tuning in. For those of you who weren't here yesterday, last night I had my first event, quote, fundraiser for Craig DeLuz for Congress. It was a phenomenal. Quick shout out to our sponsors before Mikey gets here. So when he gets here, all he'll have to do is, just start enjoying the conversation and having a good time. All right, we're going to start with Hitman Industries. If you are looking for, if you're looking for a new barrel for your rifle or for your pistol, ever bought for them, get yourself a nice fat discount from them, so check them out today. That's Hitman Industries. Then we've got the California Republican Assembly working to help elect movement conservatives. That's right, I'm talking pro-life, pro-family, limited government, anti-tax, pro-Second Amendment. Folks, you name it, they are on the right side of every issue. They're working to help elect conservatives like that, from school board all the way up to President of the United States. So what you want to do, go check them out at cragop.org. If you want to be a part of California's future today, join CRA. Then we've got Hawg Holsters. That's Hawg Holsters. You can find them at hawgholsters.com. I know, weird spelling, right? It means helping Americans wear guns. Look, folks, they have phenomenal holsters. Whatever you're looking for, inside the waistband, outside the waistband, you're looking for concealed carry or just tactical.com. That's right. They have all sorts of tactical gear, indoor, outdoor, cold weather, warm weather, rainy weather, fishing, hunting, all tactical gear you're looking for, but the gun. All right, just so you know, all tactical gear today. And we are going to start with our good friend, Mr. Hunter Biden. Well, we all know that the impeachment inquiry was they officially voted. I think it was yesterday or today. It's late afternoon. But they officially voted for the hearing. They officially voted. This is going to be an official inquiry, right? And needless to say, Hunter Biden was there. He decided to show up. Not there, but he decided to do a quick clip from that get together.
For 6 years, MAGA Republicans, including members of the House committees who are in a closed-door session right now, belittled my recovery, and they have tried to dehumanize me, all to embarrass and damage my father, who has devoted his entire public life to service. For 6 years, I have been the target of the unrelenting Trump attack machine, shouting, "Where's Hunter?" Well, here's my answer. I am here. Let me state as clearly as I can. My father was not financially involved.
All right, so let's break that down a little bit. Once again, here it is. Hunter Biden says, Republicans have weaponized my dad's love for me. That was the last part of the press conference that I would not, I wouldn't ask you to stomach hearing that. But breaking it down, there are a couple of things here that he noted that were very, very specific. And one of the first things I wanted to point to is he says there is absolutely no evidence of corruption complicity, right? That's one of the things that he mentions during his press conference, that there's no evidence. Now, you'll also remember that in that statement, he said something about them invading his privacy. Well, those two statements have something to do with one another. And that's because, oh, by the way, and he talked about how they've imbued his integrity. I swear all the evidence is of all of these accusations that are taking place. And you might know Hunter's not the only Democrat that's out there claiming there's absolutely no evidence of anything. There's no evidence that they've not been checking out Hunter Biden's laptop. Because if they had been checking out, if they had taken a moment to just look at Hunter Biden's laptop, they might come to recognize that, let's be clear, he has an email to his own daughter saying, I hope father, because, he was support. Oh, no, I'm sorry. He didn't just say support his father. He said support the whole family. Yeah, let me clarify that. He is clearly the victim of a right-wing witch hunt.
I've got plenty of no sympathy for this guy, right, Craig? None at all. None at all. But what are you going to do when the big guy needs?
But like I said, Democrats are saying there's absolutely no evidence. Now, Mike, have you actually taken any time to look at any of the Hunter Biden and the president?
Yeah, and I have read a significant amount of it. It's been, Craig, probably. Well, that's a technique for keeping yourself out of hot water, right? You hear attorneys do it all that should have been done about it, and it wasn't.
On my opponent, Mr. Ami Berra. And that's exactly what I found. He's like, I've seen absolutely no evidence. There is nothing that I have seen. And he focuses on.
Can you testify for what you've seen if you've never seen anything? Yeah.
Well, and at this point, though, don't you, Mike, have to be.
I want to know the topic. I don't need to know the details.
Well, but no.
And they've never taken the time to the detail.
If you are a member, the smallest amount of curiosity, of appropriate curiosity, business.
That's right. But you know what? This is the blind obedience they have as yellow dog Democrats, right? That Craig, if their party,
I don't know what's going on because it appears like we have a slow feed. I do not know exactly. For some of our channels, the feed is a little bit slow. So, my apologies. Boston mayor is holding a no whites allowed holiday party. I know, caught your attention, right? Well, let's read a little bit. That specifically sought to exclude white members of the city government. Wu's aide issued an apology this week after she mistakenly sent an invite for the mayor's No Whites Christmas party to all members of the Boston City Council when only the electeds of colors were meant to receive the invite. Oops, roughly 15 minutes after the invite went out, the aide, Denise Dos Santos, who serves as the mayor's director of city relations, issued an apology. I wanted to apologize for my previous email regarding the holiday party for tomorrow, Dos Santos wrote. I did send that to everyone by accident, and I apologize if my email may have offended or came across so, the aide added. Sorry for any confusion this may have caused. As noted by the New York Post, Boston's city council is comprised of 6 minority and 7 white members. Needless to say, the revelation that the mayor of a major city planned to host a no whites Christmas party with government officials sparked severe reactions online. Councilmember Frank Baker, a white Democrat, bashed the move as unfortunate and divisive. Quote, I don't really get offended too easily, Baker told the Boston Herald. To offend me, you're going to have to do much more than not invite me to a Christmas party. I find it unfortunate that the temperature, the way it is, that we would further that with division, Baker added. Now, Mike, I'm just trying to imagine this. Imagine this. Imagine if a white mayor of a major city, of any city, of a school board, said, on the left would be.
It would be mayhem. It would just be absolute mayhem. This is ridiculous. How is she still in office now? I mean, you notice in her little her letter there, since 2004 they've been wandering aimlessly, Craig. The Red Sox won the World Series in 2004 after an 86-year drought. They've had nothing to rally around since then. now running through there. Well, now they have 19 years later. Here they go. They got a rally cry. They're going to go against the woo. It's going to. They're going
It was not that they're holding a racist
yeah,
party. The
right.
apology was that, well, we're gonna, you
Yeah,
shouldn't
the
have
email.
gotten the invite. That's the
That's right.
apology.
Sorry,
We
sorry. The
apologize
email
for
was.
inviting you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yep. Sorry if you feel.
You don't get to just exclude people because you don't want people of their race there.
It's. Listen, hey, if it wasn't for whites in Boston, the Celtics would have no championships at all, right?
If that's the claim you want to go with, I'll give it to you. Anyway, folks, this just it is beyond me to try and understand exactly why these folks think this is okay, but they do. I what I am hoping is that I'm hoping that reasonable, rational people who tend to be left of center realize and will wake up and realize, look, there are people who claim to be on your side that are not on your side, that have left you. They don't represent your values. They don't share your values. And if you don't step up and say something, they're going to ruin the country you love.
Care of them. They could do whatever they could offend and do whatever they want because it's anti-Trump and Biden's going to take care of us. So they don't care what they do.
Yep, pretty much. All right, moving right along, and we've talked a little bit about this before. Gun retailers declared to be a public nuisance. Now, this is something, and this is actually a methodology or a method that anti-gunners are starting to use in order to put gun stores out of business. Because, see, what they realize, or at least what gun grabbers are doing is this. They realize you may have a right, or their belief is you have a right to own a gun, but you don't have a right to buy a gun. You don't have a right to sell a gun. You don't have a right to ammunition. And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to work around the edges of every single piece of the Second Amendment until the Second Amendment is basically, well, how shall we say it, useless. And that's what their goal is. Their goal is to make the Second Amendment basically useless. And that brings us to this article over at Bearing Arms, where they talk about gun store and gun show promoter sued under public nuisance law. It says New Jersey's anti-gun attorney general has been busy this week. My colleague, John Petrolino, will have an update on Matthew Platkin's latest attempt to enforce the state's post-Bruin carry restrictions later today. But in addition to targeting lawful gun owners, the AG also is going after gun sellers. On Tuesday, Platkin announced he's using one of the state's newest gun control laws to sue Garden State Gun Store, and Pennsylvania Gun Show promoter. Now, Mike, I'm sure you've seen these sorts of lawsuits before. Once again, the idea is that if you can't buy a gun, you can't own a gun. So let's do our best to try and take these folks out of business.
Absolutely. Find any way, right? Oh, we'll let you have your guns, but we're not going to let you have your ammo. Same type of argument. We're going to find a method. The new New York handgun law, right? Oh no, you can have guns, you just can't have them in sensitive places like just tunnels, ferries, and airplanes. All the way you get into Manhattan, so you can't have one there. It's like we're idiots. I did his business in the street. That's a public nuisance. Okay, that's what you want to get rid of with a public nuisance. Not, oh man, I do not agree with the lawful business they're conducting across the street. I'm going to say it's a nuisance and file a lawsuit. That should be somebody that's immediately have the lawsuit thrown out for a frivolous lawsuit. The judge should cost them all court costs, and then they should be able to take them outside and throw rotten tomatoes at them.
Right. A public nuisance in New Jersey through unlawful or unreasonable conduct, or that fail to maintain reasonable controls relating to their sale, manufacturing, distribution, importing, or marketing, that's a key one, of gun-related products. Now, Platkin says a Morris County gun store should be held to account for being the victim of a burglary while he is accusing Eagle Shows and the company JSD Supply, both owned by the same individuals, of targeting the sale of ghost gun products to New Jersey residents by holding gun shows in eastern Pennsylvania and having the audacity to advertise the shows in New Jersey. All right, now I don't know the geography here, but um, it sounds like they're doing their advertising and they're holding the show in another state, right? I'm sorry, I got Mikey up there instead of myself, but it sounds like they're holding the show in another state, but because they're advertising it in New Jersey, which is probably in the East New Jersey,
trying to travel through Philadelphia area or east of Philadelphia, and they take the wrong turn and they end up in New Jersey because they share the border there, over the river and the geographical boundaries. So it's a perfect place, Craig. Where do you want to advertise for someplace people really need your product? What's a good place for that? Someplace that makes you an outlaw if you think about guns. So that's their target ratio over here. We're going to put you in jail. We're going to sue you anyway.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Once again, their goal is to end your constitutional right to keep and bear arms, and they plan on doing it by violating the Constitution. It's the only other option
Every
they got.
time. Every time.
It'd be like that. All right, our final story. SWA, that's Southwest Airlines, is rewarding obesity? What? Say it ain't so. Those of you, if you've ever flown Southwest Airlines, you know that it can be a little snug when you go to get a seat, especially if you have someone who is sitting next to you who is, let's just say of a larger size. And now Southwest Airlines is being accused of rewarding obesity with a new policy that grants overweight passengers free extra seats. Customers have criticized Southwest Airlines for a ridiculous policy that gives overweight passengers free seats to accommodate their size. The airline has instituted a customer of size policy which allows overweight passengers whose body takes up more than one seat on the plane to get the needed number of seats for free. The policy states the customer who encroached upon any part of the neighboring seat may purchase however many extra seats they need, which will then be refunded at check-in. The change has provoked a mixed feedback from customers. While some body-positive customers have praised the policy for allowing those with obesity to travel more easily, critics say it's pandering to the overweight people and gives them an unfair advantage. Okay, so I got two things on this particular policy. The first is, as someone who's sat next to a larger person, I will tell you it's not just for them. It's also for the person who has to sit next to them. Because if you've ever sat next to, and you like, especially if you got two, one on each side, and you're like this, it ain't fun. So it's more, in my opinion, it's protecting the person who has.
And then you got the refund, however it worked. I know they did change on it. There was some form of it existing before. I'll tell you this, Craig, and I don't know how many people are thinking about this as a pilot. Okay, let me tell you, they calculate the weight of the airplane based on the luggage that comes through. Remember, that's why everybody has a maximum luggage allowance, right? We know that how much each gallon of gas weighs. We know exactly. Craig, you take 10 people on there that weigh 400 pounds, right? And start sticking them in seats one next to each other. Now you've blown your weight and balance out of proportion. So your aircraft's out of weight and balance. The performance is bad, becomes a safety issue. You've got less fuel. You can't go as far. So I think the way they may be looking at this is, listen, we got so many obese people.
Or, about rewarding obesity or promoting. But my whole thing is this. It's about comfort. And if not their comfort, the person who's bought the seat, who has to sit next to them, ought to be able to be protected. And the reason why they make them purchase the extra seat is so that Southwest has an accurate count of how many seats they're going to have available. So they aren't letting people on the fly. They aren't selling seats that they don't have.
Yeah.
So
yeah, no, I'm with you.
I get what y'all are saying. I totally get what you're saying. But if it protects the rest of us, if it gives the rest of us an opportunity to be able to travel in comfort, because I already ain't got much room in front of me. I can't lean my seat back anymore because that's considered rude. So at least let me get a little, and I may not be obese, but I got some pretty wide shoulders.
This problem, Craig, if we stop selling airplanes percent capacity when we're selling tickets for them, that wouldn't be a problem. Let's cap it at 75 like we used to, so we had a little bit of safety room.
Right. Well, now, so they're able to sell seats to like 125% of capacity? How do they get away with that?
Well, because of they always anticipate a 5%, 10% no show.
So if people don't show but they paid, well then.
Well, have you ever been to an airport? Have you ever been waiting for the plane and they ask for volunteers to not go on the flight?
Yes.
That's because they sold 120 tickets to a 100-seat plane and expected 20 not to show up, but only 10 didn't show up. So that's why they do that, because they oversell the plane, but then they get an actual, a higher percentage that show.
That's a conspiracy.
Well, listen, I mean, it makes good business sense, right? If only 90% of your customers are going to show up that pay full price, why don't we sell 110% difference?
I'm having a hard time disagreeing with that. It's seems to be like a wise way to go about doing your business, I guess.
Yep. Again, from the cockpit, I'll tell you it's a safety situation. I'd much rather have less people on the plane than more. And remember, this is a securities issue, right? Because that's what it comes down to. Because prior to 9/11, we didn't have all the security fees attached to the airlines, and they could fly with many more open seats. Since then, less flights, more people on each flight, so they get more bang for their buck.
Well, I do appreciate that information from within the industry. It is actually quite helpful in helping those of us who aren't in the industry but have to deal with that industry. It's very helpful in helping us to understand what is going on. So, Mike, as usual, you are the man.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here for you. Yeah. For you people. For you people.
All right. Well, hey, folks, look, this brings us to our. All right. The holidays are coming up, and some of you are wondering what I want for Christmas. Well, let me just say, this is what I want for Christmas. It says, when Santa asks what I want for Christmas, who does that appear to be behind bars?
It's the big guy.
The big guy. That's the big guy.
And that's exactly how I want him, too. I want him wearing a suit every day. Not an orange jumpsuit. I want him wearing that little presidential suit there, because I want him to get up every day and think he's still there. He'll probably do nothing different in his life. You realize that, Craig? If we put him behind bars or leave him alone, he's still going to wander around lost looking for tapioca.
Wondering where his tapioca is?
Yep.
Oh, okay. And that brings me to this next one. And I honestly think someone posted this thinking it was promoting and it was a positive. It says, making manufacturing great again, and it's pointing out $7.7 billion of investments to U.S. offshore wind industry. Offshore meaning foreign company. $500 billion to private sector manufacturing and clean energy investments. That means that's going to solar companies, wind companies, these companies that have traditionally failed at producing additional energy, and many of which have gone bankrupt. More than 142,000 new clean energy jobs for electricians, mechanics, construction workers, technicians, and support staff. That is after you've destroyed over 1 million construction jobs, regular construction jobs for electricians, mechanics, construction workers, technicians, and support staff, and then hired them at much cheaper, much more lower paying energy jobs that are temporary. And then 18 offshore wind shipping projects worth $3.5 billion investments across 12 manufacturing facilities and 13 points. You mean wind, once again, that is doing absolutely nothing to provide the level of energy that we need in order to produce this country. I just wanted to point that out because I want to give credit where credit is due. And if he wants to brag about this BS, I think it's important for us to let folks know about it. What do you think, Mike?
Agree. This is something that is just, look we're going to impress all the money that's been made by other countries.
or by his rich alternative energy friends.
Exactly right. Hunter, you got that? You got that?
All right, this last one here. Well, this one, I think this right here is a resounding endorsement of a presidential candidate. That one that I think that well, we hear a lot from people who don't like him. Let's hear from some celebrities who actually do like him.
Donald Trump speaks to an eclectic type audience. You know, I think personally, Donald's a friend of mine. I just think he says it wrong. I think if he can reword some of the things he says and put it in business form, it'll really make sense. But Donald's like a straight up guy. Like if he sees your shirt tucked out, he won't preach his side. He'll be like, tuck your shirt. Rather than some guys like to wear their shirts out, but I think you should tuck it in. Like he's a straightforward guy.
So I think he hit the nail on the head. I mean, it's funny to me that there are a lot of people who loved Donald Trump before Donald Trump ran for president, and now all of a sudden they got issues with him.
The Diesel there, he's like you, Craig. He's 100% supports Donald Trump, but I wish he would say it differently sometimes.
I remember like that. We're like, okay, yeah, Uncle Eddie's cool, but dude.
Yeah, you can't say that out loud, Uncle Eddie. What are you doing,
You can't.
Absolutely. But you know what? I'll tell you this, and I've said it before. This is a New York City born and raised construction guy. He's not out there doing the work. He's running the business. And I've got relatives that have worked the details, worked his job sites, hauling the food truck over and the coffee truck and taking care of his people every chance he gets.
There you go. That's the kind of leader you want.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
On that note, before we call it a day, let's go ahead and give that final shout out to our sponsors.
That's it. Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Now you can get AR pistol and rifle caliber barrels for any length you desire for your next pistol or rifle build. That's hitmanindustries.net. California Republican Assembly fighting that good fight behind enemy lines. Now you can take part in California's future today. Make sure you check out that 6th congressional race out there in California, y'all. And then, of course, if you want the best in tactical gear, you're going indoors, outdoors, hunting, camping, fishing, you get everything but the gun at uscombatgear.com.
That's right, folks. In case you are wondering what he is referring to, Craig DeLuz running for California's 6th congressional district against Representative Ami Bera. Could use your support. Help a brother out. Just go to craigdeluz.com, click on the donate button, kick in a few shekels, and ask your friends to do the same because brother needs your help. Anyway, on that note, we're going to go ahead and call it a day. Like I said before, for those of you who have missed part of the program because of the bad internet, I apologize. Yeah, I apologize. But if you go over to Spotify, we'll upload you'll be able to see the whole thing live because, like I said, we recorded here. We will start to cast them out so that tomorrow's program on Free for All Friday will be a lot smoother.
Yeah. Very true.
Was I pausing a lot for you?
No, not really.
Okay. I don't know what it is, but I got a really low signal, and just got a really low signal on this end. And when I went and I checked the feeds, it was on there. If it's on the end of Restream, but in any case,
Don't know.
I can only do what I can do. I can't change the internet.
Can't do's no more.
No.
Hey, do you know what Bill Clinton's so damn boring? They just gave him his own name. Al Gore.
Oh, that's bad. That's bad. Any way you shake it, that's about what we expected. Didn't expect a whole lot. with it being the holidays and all. But I knew I had to do an
Right.
event before the end of the year. I enjoyed that. I enjoy when people do that. I'd like them to be there, but
Yeah.
in the end, I'm like, if it's a choice between you showing up and
From Ballotpedia, California's 6th congressional district election. All right, and then you got. It's always good to see one of them around. And then I see 1, 2, 3, 4 others besides you. Okay.
I don't know who this marshal it's since the filing. They haven't updated it since the filing because only now the filing is actually done. I know
Right.
Robert Christian. I know he's filed. I don't know if
Okay.
Marshall Martin has filed, and I know.
Oh yeah,
What?
contact personal Facebook, personal LinkedIn.
Yeah. Campaign website. There it is. Are you on Ballotopia?
I was looking at somebody else. Though. I
Ballotpedia.
was looking at Brett Daniels. Robla Elementary School Board. What they should have done is put the date you were in there. It says present office holder. They need to put the date you started.
Yeah. It'd be nice
Oh,
if they did. They put the
Yeah.
last elected. I'm like, yeah, no.
Yeah.
I got on the board, I was filling a vacant seat. And so that rather than do an election, they appointed me. And I've run
That
for
was in
re-election every
2018.
time.
It says you were appointed in. Yeah, you need to correct them. You need to get with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I updated my slogan when I was doing
no,
your part. You didn't hear it.
the January 1st, 2019, that's click on
Was
Great
Ballotpedia.org
I'm on Ballotpedia. Dun, dun, dun.
/
Oh
Craig
yeah,
_
appointed. Yeah,
Deleuze.
why does it say appointed?
Yeah.
I wonder if it says that when no one runs against you, but even then, that's not a correct date.
Right. Yeah, even if you run unopposed, it's still running.
Yes. Well, let's complete their candidate connection survey. All right. Click here to begin the survey. Well, the good news is that now, since I had a fundraiser yesterday, I can take today off from making. I can take the day off.
What do I got here? Let's see. I want to go to just SoundCloud. Let me see what I got. Nice. All right, I'm going inside. I got dinner.
All right, man.